Hello everyone, I am Meltiandari Wandha Puspita. Here I want to continue to tell you about the novel that I have read, that is Divergent by Veronica Roth. Here I want to tell you from chapter 4 until chapter 12. I will begin from when Beatrice arrives at home after the aptitude test. Beatrice reached her street 5 minutes and she sits in front of her house and waits for Caleb's arrival. Caleb sensed that there is something wrong with Beatrice. Beatrice insists that she got sick and went home early after the aptitude test. Then Caleb asks Beatrice to tell him the truth, but she refuses. When they have dinner together with their family, her mother said that she heard about one of the tests and the result should be reported verbally. Caleb and Beatrice deny hearing about that, and suddenly their father tells them about Marcus, the one of co-worker of their father. Jane and Matthews, the soul of Erudite, claimed that Marcus was violent towards his son, which caused the boy to switch from abnegation to dauntless. It is very rare for anyone to switch out of abnegation. The erudite reports the news for months, and due to the simmering tensions between the factions, Beatrice notes that despite her aptitude test, she will not to choose erudite. And when Beatrice climbs the stairs to their rooms, Caleb says that Beatrice do have to think about their family also, but they must also think about themselves. On the following day, when Beatrice arrives at choosing ceremony, she takes note of the homogeneity within the numbers of abnegation. Marcus leads the ceremony and reads the names of children who will choose in reserved alphabetical order. There are 5 large metal bowls in the room, and each containing a substance represents the faction. Abnegation holds gray stones, and then erudite holds water, amity holds earth, and dauntless holds coals, and candor holds glass. And after the choosing ceremony begins, Marcus recites the history of faction. Marcus insists that human being without affection, human being would not survive. And then, one by one of them began choosing. James Tucker is the first person to transfer from dauntless to candor. And a few minutes later, it's Caleb's turn. Beatrice watches in shock as her brother chooses erudite. She realizes that when Caleb told her to think of herself, he was planning to choose her own advice too. Then it's Beatrice's turn. She's sure she will choose abnegation for her faction, but in a final decision, she slices her hand with a knife and her blood drops into the coals. So, finally, Beatrice chooses dauntless. Beatrice's first task as initiates is to jump into a moving train. Beatrice has a lot of trouble at first, but finally a candor girl named Christina reached out to help her. Beatrice also watched a boy who doesn't make it into the train, and finally he has already failed initiation, and now the boy is affectionless. Christina and Beatrice ride the train to Dauntless headquarters. The Dauntless initiates have to jump off the train into a rooftop 7 stories high. Missing the jump, it means they're falling to one's death. Christina and Beatrice jump hand in hand. A Dauntless leader, Max, he greets and informs them that to enter the Dauntless compound, they must jump off the building. Everyone else, everyone else is reluctant to go first, but Beatrice steps up and without thinking anymore, she jumps. Annette catches her, and a young man reaches out a hand to help her. And the young man asks Beatrice's name, and Beatrice thinks that when she is in a new place, it can a new name for her. So finally, Beatrice settles her name as Tris, and the man is Four. Then the initiates are split up between the Dauntless Burn and transfers. Four is in charge of the transfers. For the next few weeks, Four will be the instructor of initiates of transfers. Christina as Kendra personality and Pete as a massive underground cavern. There are plenty of Dauntless around. And when all of the initiates move into the dining hall for the first meal as the Dauntless, they are approached by Eric, the Dauntless leader. Later, Eric leads the initiates down a hallway and tells them about the training they will undergo during the initiation. There will be multiple stages, and the initiates will be ranked in order to determine who will get first pick up of job Dauntless after initiation. Only the top 10 initiates are made full Dauntless, are full members of Dauntless. If they get cut, they must leave as affectionless. Then it's time for training. The first thing initiates learn is how to shoot a gun. Tris has a lot of troubles at first, but Will, an erudite boy, mocks her a bit for it. After 5 rounds, Tris hits the center. At lunch, Tris sits with Al and Christina. They discuss the fact of candor and abnegation. After lunch, the initiates will begin learning how to fight. Ford teaches some technique for them and tells them that the next day they will begin fighting each other. Afterwards, Christina decides to give Tris a makeover to make her look like more Dauntless. Christina puts Tris in a black dress and takes out her braid and gives her eyeliner. In training the next day, Ford announces that since there is an odd number of transfer initiates, but Tris won't be fighting. Molly, Drew, and Peter are a group of nasty candor transfers. Peter is the leader and he is cruel and competitive. Will and Al are first up. They spar for a long time, and suddenly Al asks when it's supposed to end. Ford says that conceding is allowed, but Eric contradicts him. Eric says that the fight only ends when one of them gets knocked out. Tris realizes that Ford and Eric are two different kinds of Dauntless. The honorable kind and the ruthless kind. After that, I'll manage to knock Will out. Then, the fight between Molly and Christina gets bloody. But Christina does not fall unconscious, therefore Eric makes it continue. Eventually, Christina was obviously against Eric's rule, and as a punishment, he marches the initiates out the chest and makes Christina hang over the edge 5 minutes. She has trouble about a minute and a half, but her new friends help her rally, and after 5 minutes, they help her up. On the next day, Tris wakes up from the bedroom and Tris finds that the word Steve that is painted across her mattress in red. It's pretty obvious that Peter was the one who did it. And then Al helps Tris to clean it up. When all of the initiates go to training, Tris gets shocked. The first opponent of the day is Peter. Tris starts thinking about the Peter's weakness, but Tris realizes that Peter doesn't have any. During the fight, Peter goes Tris on before laying into her. While she is being pummeled, she is for get up and walks out. And for said enough before she's knocked out. Tris wakes up in the hospital. Tris recalls the first time she was in the hospital at 6 years. Tris memorized when her mother fell and broke her arm. Christina informs Tris that they will be going on the field trip to the city, films the next day to learn about Dawnless' job. Al hangs around Tris' bed for a minute and admits that he has begun to purposefully lose fights because he doesn't want to hurt people. Christina and Tris approach the fence and Ford explains that if they aren't in the top 5 at the end of initiation. After inquiring, they learned that Ford was first ranked in his initiate class. At the gate, the Dauntless guards open the doors to allow an empty truck to pass. And Tris sees Robert, a friend from Abnegation. Robert hugs her in greeting, and it makes Tris stiffen. Robert insists that Tris could go home to Abnegation if she wants to, if she is not happy. But Tris refuses and says she chose this. Forewarns Tris against conversations like the one she had with Robert, and gives her advice for when she fights and attacks first. And for the next training fight, Tris is luckily paired with Mira. They are told to grab guns containing pinballs, and Ford tells them they will be dividing into teams and playing capture the flag, a true Dauntless tradition. Ford and Eric are the team captains, and the first person for pick is Tris. Eric is cocky that his team is brown will win. Ford's team goes to place their flag at Navy Pier, following the strategy of Ford's winning team during his initiation. Everyone begins arguing over the best strategy to take. On the way up, he asks what Tris thinks of the purpose of this game is, and she suggests learning strategy and teamwork. When Tris' legs begins to shake, she is at first thinks that it is because of the head, but then she realizes that it is Ford's presence. He makes her feel like she is about to fall or turn to liquid. Ford begins to have some troubles, and he seems to be deadly afraid of heights. Then they continue to climb until they reach the top. On the way down, Tris slips and hangs off the wheel. Ford figures out a way to make the wheel work again, and he rides it to the ground before she leaps to her death. They tell the rest of their team where to look for the other flag, and they go running off to get it. When Tris and Christina reach for the flag at the same time, Tris allows Christina to take it and have some glory, although it is extremely difficult for her. On the way back to the compound, Trish officially meets Marilyn and Uriah. Two dauntless burn initiates. Okay everyone, that's all my summary from chapter 4 until chapter 12. I will summarize the next chapter on the next vlog. And thank you for your attention and goodbye.